Good day and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about Gardens of the Moon, which is the first book of Malazan Book of the Fallen. Um, so, this is a book that has a fairly large fan base who have fairly strong positive feelings about it. Unfortunately, I am not one of those people. The book really isn't made for me. Um, when I had read the book years ago and I was just like, okay, this is it's an okay book, but it's not for me. And I had no intention of reading the other nine books in the series, and I have not read any of those nine books in the series. Um, so I was just kind of reading through the Wikipedia entry to kind of remember some of the things that happened and, some of the themes of the book and what I liked and what I didn't like. And the thing that I read that really jumped out at me, and I think I knew this actually before I read it. The book reads like a game log. So if you do tabletop or pen and paper or whatever you want to call it, role playing games, Dungeons and Dragons being the most well known, and Malazan was originally based on a D&D world that the authors had developed, and then they eventually switched it to the GURP system, which makes sense because it doesn't seem like a D&D world. Books that are written and set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons are, unfortunately, it's very easy to tell when they are, which is good if you like that, and it's bad if you don't. But this didn't read like a Dungeons and Dragons style of book. Um, so why did I say that it read like a game log? Well, I mean, it looks like a bunch of players going through a series of situations, and the plot is advancing, via the player's actions. One of the things that the fans of Malazan say is, well, the book doesn't spoon feed you. And, that's certainly true. Um, One way to look at it. I prefer to look at it as you've got a world with a very deep history, which isn't revealed ahead of time. So things happen for reasons, and then afterwards it's like, oh yeah, well there's this particular historical thing that happened, and as a result, this group of people did this, that, or the other thing, and so that's why this action happened. You're like, oh, okay, which is one of the reasons why it felt like a game log, because it's the kind of things that would happen to players in a typical tabletop game, where they go blundering into some weird situation and then all of a sudden get in over their heads, uh, and then as the history get revealed, they're like, oh, well, that's why that happened. So again, the Malazan fans like to say they don't spoon feed you. I look at it as, it's this incredibly complicated world, and there are just lots and lots and lots of characters, and there's all these names thrown at you. And it's not that I would do this, but I felt that if I had to read this, I would need to, take notes while I was reading it, have everybody's name written down on a piece of paper, and then maybe one or two lines about them. So when I see these names, I'm like, oh, okay, I know who this person is. Because when I read it, it was just these people, just constant people. I didn't remember their histories. I didn't remember what was relevant about them. I didn't really remember anything about them. It's just like, okay, what is this person? Why is it important? Do I really want to read through the books 4 or 5 times so that I can, start to get all these characters sorted out in my head? And the answer is no. No, I don't. Um, I don't have a great memory for names. So, when you throw a bunch of characters at me, I just get lost really quickly. And Malazan does that with a vengeance. And so it's a great book. Reviews are very positive. They have fans that, are very, very happy with it. And good. I'm glad that the book has an audience of people that enjoy it, but I'm not one of those people. I just found it very, very, very difficult to read because I couldn't keep track of everybody, and there was so much history that was hidden until it was, suddenly revealed, and then events happen. And it's just like, oh, what? Okay, that makes sense. But I spent the most of the time saying, I don't understand what's going on and why this is relevant. So, not something that I enjoyed reading, but you might. If you did listen this far, thank you. I appreciate your attention, and I will talk to you later.